And she was like, "You're out. We're done." And I was like, "Wait, come on. No, not that. I told you, I'm honest."
Yeah.
She's like, "Dude, this is bullshit. I'm out." And I was like, I just lost my family.
What is up, you guys? Welcome to the Road to Recovery YouTube channel, a video series to encourage men battling porn addiction. And in today's episode, I want to give you guys my reaction to the viral Terry Crews interview with Neal Brennan, where he discusses his porn addiction. And if you guys are interested in seeing the full video, I will leave the link in the description down below. Due to the length of this video, I'm going to separate it into two parts. So if you enjoy this video, stay tuned for next week's upload. And without further ado, let's get into my reaction.
Good.
Well, which brings us to our next block, porn.
Yeah.
You've been open about this as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was this part of this could fall under the masculinity rubric
Maybe.
or not?
It's weird. Because of all the problems, with alcoholism and the religion, when I was a little kid, probably about 9 or 10, I fell into my uncle's porn stash. I'll never forget discovering
Back then, it was a stash.
It was
in a
full
box
stash, and my life changed forever. I mean, there were only a few times when all my problems went away. A couple. One was Carol Burnett, and the other was porn. And back then, you had porn in the grocery store. You could literally see Player, Playboy. It was right there up with the milk and cheese was on the one aisle. And that was just the thing. They were like, and I remember going into the store to get some stuff, and my mother sending me in, and I did not leave. And she was like, she came in like, "What are you doing?" And I was sitting there with the magazine rack with a Playboy, and I just could not move. And then I came up in the era of, first days of cable, when Playboy Channel, Escapade Channel, this kind of thing. And then,
Escapade, that's a deep cut.
You remember that? I'm going way back. And then it was so weird because they were all based on like.
You ever jerk off to a scrambled?
Yeah.
To a scrambled Playboy?
No, but let me tell you, this is the thing about the scramble. I knew how to de-scramble.
Of course you did.
You just hold the channel in between, and it would come in clear as day.
Well, when you're addicted to porn, Terry, you'll find ways around the system.
That's what you do. That's what you do, dude. And it's in the house.
Yeah.
And it was something I ran to because, again, I wasn't allowed to do anything else. So when my parents were gone and doing whatever, I would be in there watching porn.
Okay, so here Terry identifies how he used porn as an escape from his reality. He was using porn to medicate some of the problems that he was having in his life. So right off the bat, we're off to a pretty good start because you cannot recover from porn addiction until you identify these things. And that is how Terry Crews is starting off. So let's continue and see where else this goes.
It's funny because my brother and I would be watching together for a while, and then he'd be like, "Man, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't need that." And I was like, "You go ahead. I'm see you later. I need it."
And you're just watching it? You're just transfixed. You're not masturbating. You're just transfixed.
You got to understand, I was so young at first, and my mother being so religious. We never talked about my mother and father. To this day, I've never had a talk with my dad about sex.
Oh,
my mother was like, I would say, "So what about sex?" And she'd be like, "Don't talk about sex unless you are you doing it? Are you doing sex?" I'm like, no, I'm not. And I hated to bring it up, right? Because it was always comes with shame. So I tried to act like I wasn't ever thinking about sex. And because my mother was like, "You're going to get somebody pregnant." Because she ended up pregnant at 16. So it was something we just never talked about in our house.
Let's stop right here real quickly because Terry is exposing the taboo nature of pornography and the shame that it brought about to him growing up. So this is especially important for parents with younger children because this is something that needs to be discussed more. So I just wanted to draw some attention to this point that Terry is making. Let's go ahead and continue.
So I never forget the first time I did jack off. I was like, what is going on? And I had to be around 13 but I had been watching porn and different things since I was 8. So I didn't even know this little gift that kept
is
on
that
giving.
what this was about the whole time?
I was going, this is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then it was
so it's a way to escape.
Yeah.
And then add an orgasm to that. It's like sex is a frequency that can is very hypnotizing and arguably the strongest hypnotic frequency on earth, right?
Yeah.
And then you use that to escape from a bad place, where you lived emotionally.
Yeah.
And then you rely on it for the rest of your.
I mean, you got to. I didn't even. I was I hadn't even had sex until I went. It was my second year in college, so I was a virgin the whole time through high school.
Because you just didn't. It didn't occur to you because you had so much porn at home.
I mean, well, this is the thing. I wasn't allowed to have girlfriends either.
Oh,
so
all
this
right,
was that was another thing.
Yeah.
But because again, you're going to get somebody pregnant. So there.
Okay, so once again, it's being recognized how porn is an escape and is something that Terry relied on. I just really want to hammer that point since Terry keeps bringing this up so often. But let's continue with the interview.
Huge. It just became a problem, man. And when I say a problem, I thought getting married was going to end it. I got married the day before my 21st birthday. Me and my wife have been married 34 years. And I thought, oh man, when I get married, I got a real woman. Now I'll never need porn again. And then we got in an argument and I was like, I need porn. And that hit me. I was like, oh shit.
Did you realize immediately uh-oh?
Yep. I mean, immediately. Because we got in an argument and I was going, oh, now I need porn. Because,
So you'd call your uncle, find a stash? So then you realize, but that's 20 years before you do anything about it, right?
Right.
Okay, so this is actually a really, really big point that Terry makes because many people aren't able to identify this as quickly as Terry did. And many people have the same mistaken belief that, once I get married, my porn addiction is just going to magically go away because my needs are going to be met by my spouse, right? Well, we see that that's not the case because we've been identifying how we use porn to medicate some of the problems in our life. So we have these emotions that we're basically suppressing. And when we get married, we're bringing together two separate people with mixed emotions. So naturally, when spouses get into an argument, these emotions clash. So you have very strong emotions from one party and then the other party who has been suppressing their emotions their whole life and doesn't know how to deal with these emotions. So naturally, you just turn back to porn because it was just that compulsive behavior that you built up your whole life. So yeah, this is a very important point that Terry Crews is making. And let's get back to the interview.
And how I would unwind was pornography. But I needed more. And you got to understand, it's the gift that does not, it's
very
diminishing
gross,
returns.
A gross question.
Okay.
How many times a day were you masturbating on average?
Oh, I don't remember.
Think,
but it had
Terry,
to be.
this is important. Good.
Yeah, man. But I could tell you this. I was watching from day turned into night. So it would be 11 a.m. all the way to 11 p.m.
Was it about the orgasm, or was it just about like the trance?
Yeah, a trance. You're in a trance. You're in a trance. It's like you're instantly out of body. It's like you're nowhere.
Okay, so yeah, I would agree with Terry and the point that he's making here, that porn addiction isn't about it isn't about the orgasm. You are in a trance, and as porn addicts, we try to delay the orgasm for as long as possible so we could just stay in that state of being in a trance. So much so that we do this to the point where it's no longer enjoyable. It's just a compulsive behavior that we continue to take a part in. We don't even know why we're doing it, but we keep doing it. So I have to wholeheartedly agree with Terry and the point that he's making here. All right, so let's see what else he has to say.
Did your wife know that it was an issue before? Like, would you go like, I'm going to my office, I need quiet? Or
She caught me a couple times.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no, I won't do this.
What is this?
Yeah. I
Porn,
was like, no, and but this was a while because I went through the whole changes, like, with cable and then the internet.
Yeah.
And then it got easier.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't
got
gotta go to
easier
the store,
hide.
Terry. You don't have to go behind into the beaded room.
No, you're right. You don't have to go to a bookstore. You don't have to do this stuff. And it was just going, and because that's what I would do before. Is like, oh man, feel bad and go home and you don't have anything in the house.
Place.
And, and then every hotel had something, and I was like, but I hid that for years. And then my wife finally, she was like, Terry, what is it I don't know about you? And I got tired. And we were arguing a lot. I kind of felt like we were going to break up anyway, because it became this thing where this stuff gets too hard to hide. And I felt like
you also resent them because you have to hide it, so you resent them.
Resentment, exactly. Like, I was always angry at her.
And
she was the problem.
Why won't you let me masturbate 12 hours a day?
You know what I mean? Like,
square.
Man, your brain makes up the most wild things, reasons, and justifications for how messed up you are. Okay, and I literally just told her. I said, I told her I got a hand job in Vancouver. It was like 10 years ago. But for her, it was that moment.
Yep.
And she was like, you're out. We're done. I was like, wait, come on. No, not. I told you. I'm honest.
Yeah.
She's like, dude, this is bullshit. I'm out. And I was like, I just lost my family.
Wow. Let's stop right here, because this is a very powerful story that Terry shares. And our brain does make up the craziest justifications. And our lack of empathy as porn addicts is very clear in this story that Terry shares. So actually, I just want to end it on this note, because there is a lot to digest here. So hopefully you guys can take away some of the hidden gems in this interview. And if you're interested in seeing more, stay tuned for next week's episode, where I will react to the rest of this interview. All right, you guys, see you next week.